Elgato did it. I've been saying it for a while now that webcams suck, but they're so easy to use. They're the most convenient thing to use with your computer. It seems like Elgato decided to become a solution to that problem, basically with their brand new Facecam. Now, I don't want to just list all the technical aspects of this webcam. What I want to tell you is all the problems that we've been having with webcams that the Facecam actually solve. First of all, the Facecam seems to be very much content creator oriented. So this camera is not trying to be a one-size-fits-all camera that your dad can use for his video conference. This is not this type of camera. This camera is really made for content creators, and you will see why. Let's start with the lens. They have what they call the Elgato Prime lens, which is a f2.4 24mm all glass studio quality lens. Now, all glass, that is different from basic cameras with their plastic lens. f2.4 means a lot of light actually is getting in. 24mm, this is a pretty good focal length without having, a fisheye effect or any distortion for that matter. But the field of view is still 82 degrees. So no chromatic aberration in the corners, no blurriness in the corners, everything is sharp. Then let's talk about the sensor. You might be wondering, how big is this camera? It's actually bigger, if not twice the size of a regular camera, because it has a pretty big sensor for a webcam, that is. They are using a Sony Starvis CMOS sensor, and when I hear Sony sensor, I'm happy because I know it's going to handle low light situation pretty well. Okay, the design is really cool. There's that blue LED on the left side, and it also comes with this little mount that you can put on top of your screen. If you unscrew this mount, you will reveal a 1/4" screw, so you can put it on a tripod, you can put it on a selfie stick for some reason. It's basically universal, which I love. The more universal stuff, the happier I am. You can also tilt and pan with the camera, so not every webcam does that, and the USB cable is detachable, making it easier to transport or to move or to, tidy up when you're not using it. Now, if we're talking about performance, this is a USB 3 webcam, which is good news because most of our top webcams on the market right now, they're still USB 2 or even USB 1. So we've been waiting to see a USB 3 camera that really takes advantage of the USB 3 technology to power the processor. The video is actually uncompressed, but it's still doing millions of calculations per millisecond. So content creators have been asking for a webcam that would have a processor like that, similar to something on the phone. And there it is. Oh, I forgot to mention the little lens cap for if you want to protect the lens because it's pretty big. You don't want to put, fingerprints or whatever. Or if you're paranoid that someone might be spying on you, you can also use that. In order to control the camera, there is also this new software called the Camera Hub that gives you so much control over your camera. It is something that I've personally never seen for a webcam before. Mostly when it comes to controlling the exposure. In this Camera Hub, you actually have access to the shutter speed. Of course, you can put it automatic exposure, but for someone like me who's used to doing video and using DSLRs, I love having access to my manual white balance, my ISO, my shutter speed, my exposure compensation, and even the metering type. One little feature of Camera Hub that I think is amazing is the noise reduction. We've all been there. You're gonna put one big bright light in front of you and then the rest of the room is gonna be dark and you're gonna have a ton of noise. Camera Hub actually has a solution for that, which is the noise reduction. You just turn it on, boom, no problem. I was scared that you might lose resolution by doing so, but it's almost seamless, really. You lose a little bit, but it's almost invisible. Of course, since it's an Elgato product, it falls into the Elgato ecosystem, so you can actually control this camera with your Stream Deck. You can add some shortcuts to play around with the specific settings. Maybe you have different lighting conditions, for example, day and night. You can just all swap it out with the Elgato Stream Deck. And talking about specific settings, a big issue that we've been having as content creators with webcams is not being able to save settings. Now, this camera has what is called a flash memory, meaning these settings are actually saved in the webcam itself. So you never have to worry about restarting your computer and losing all your stuff. On top of that, since the flash memory is inside the camera, if you unplug the camera from one computer and you go plug it into another computer, it will actually have the same setting. So you're never losing your stuff ever again. Now I know you have a couple of questions that I haven't answered yet, and I'm about to answer them hopefully right now. And I did this on purpose because there are some qualities that might seem like flaws, but in my opinion, they are qualities. For the most part, the highest resolution of this camera is 1080p 60 FPS. And you might be thinking, oh my God, there are some 4K webcams out there, but you need to understand that the resolution doesn't equal the image quality. What you are looking at right now is 1080p 60 FPS off of Sony ZV-1. Can that be compared to a Logitech C920? No. Can that be compared to a Logitech Brio's quality? No. The Sony ZV-1 is gonna look 1,000 times better. My Canon T2i does 1080p 24 FPS. I have a prime lens on it. Is it gonna look better than your 4K Logitech Brio? Yes, 1,000,000 times better. That being said, when I tell you that this 60 FPS of this camera is smooth, it is the smoothest 60 FPS I think I've ever seen inside of OBS. Another thing that might seem like a flaw is this camera doesn't have a microphone. Now let's be honest, people use the Logitech C920 and they call it the funny mic. Because of how horrible it sounds. So I don't think there's any loss there that they focused on the quality than the actual microphones on a webcam. No, as I said, this is not a mic for your dad to do video conference calls with. No offense to all the dads out there. And finally, this is where it's, quality versus flaw, the focus. It is a fixed focus. Now, everything that is about 1 or 2 meters from the webcam is going to be in focus, right? But there's no autofocus. The advantage here is that you will not have a jittery autofocus. Sometimes with the C920, it will just focus in the background and just stay there for some reason. This one personally falls more as a flaw to me because I love playing with focus, mostly manual focus. I don't like autofocus if they're not as advanced as, the Sony autofocus. This thing is sharp and fast, and it's impossible to basically have that on a webcam for now. But if it can replace, people with bzz, bzz all the time, I think it's a quality. It's a good thing. Now, if you're trying to show stuff on the camera, you will see that they still are in focus. They're maybe not as sharp as like a DSLR or any other camera that will focus very close, but it's still in focus. It's not going to be blurry. And then finally, the price, which is about $199, depending on where you're buying it from, of course, which is reasonable for what it is. It is trying to be the best webcam for content creators, which I think it's very promising so far. Personally, as a content creator, I use this camera, which is a mirrorless camera. So I'm probably gonna end up using this as an overhead camera or a secondary camera, or if we're talking in Discord and stuff like that. I do own the Logitech C920 and I'm still gonna use it because of that manual focus, and I can get stuff very up close. The Logitech C920, in my opinion, is a very good camera if you're doing like unboxing or product reviews and you want to show stuff just close to the camera. Not a good face cam, great product cam, the C920 that is, even though their software is horrible. Anyways, just wanted to make this quick video to show you the brand new Elgato Facecam. I think it's a great webcam. It is, again, trying to be the best webcam for content creators, and I think by the specs right now and mostly the software, again, Elgato is kind of unbeatable when it comes to software and management. So I think it is right now. It is definitely the camera that I will suggest for new content creators. It is a great solution right before, going into the whole DSLR world where you're probably gonna have to pay 3 or 5 or 10 times the price, really. Another thing you can do to make your channel look good is to go to gumroad.com/getlevel and get yourself some dope overlays. A lot of them are free and the rest is just super affordable. And if you're looking to make some animated gaming logos with a couple of clicks, you can go to placeit.net and get 15% off by using my link in the description. And let me know, are you gonna buy the Facecam? Does it seem appealing to you? Is the 1080p 60 FPS a problem? And which camera are you currently using to make content? But in the meantime, I gotta thank you for watching this video, and I will see you guys next time. Go out there, make me proud, get level, out.